And now, coming to you live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, it's the Sheena Metal Experience with your host, Sheena Metal, only on KGRA Digital Broadcasting.
Hello and welcome to the Sheena Metal Experience on KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. I'm Sheena Metal. I'm a psychic medium. I'm an interfaith minister. I'm a 28-year talk radio host. I'm a performing artist, and I come to you live from my home in Southern California every Friday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. This show is about spirituality. It's about creativity. It's about humanity. It's about passion. It's about service. It's about being your best you in this big, beautiful world, and then inspiring others to do the same. And every week it may be my show, but it's always, without a doubt, your experience. My guest today is a wonderfully talented singer and humanitarian and spiritual being, one of the most lovely people I know. And as I was saying those words, spirituality, creativity, humanity, passion, service, I was thinking about how every one of those words fits her so perfectly. Please welcome to the show my wonderful pal, Roslyn Kind. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Sheena, I'm good. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm wonderful. It's so good to have you here. And I was right. All 5 of those words, right, are so you.
Thank you. I love to be thought of that way. Yes. I'd like
So-
to do what I can do in this world.
You have to. I mean, it's really what it's all about, right? We're
Yeah.
here to give. And
Yeah.
through giving, then we receive, right? My
all
mama
about-
used to always say, you put 10 times into the world what you ever
Right.
expect to get out.
It's all about love.
Yeah,
It's all
100%.
about opening your heart and wanting to create beautiful scenarios, beautiful
Yes.
relationships,
Yes,
beautiful experiences with each and every other person that you come in contact with. And
absolutely.
we heal the world.
Absolutely. Now, is that something that you were raised with, or were you raised with spirituality?
All the
Did
time.
you
Yes.
know that was a part of your art from the time you were young, or did it
No,
take a
I
while
didn't.
to figure that out?
I didn't know that. It wasn't really, I didn't become aware of it until I had, my life was going up and down and sideways as an adult in the 80s, and I had a regression. I had a past life regression.
Oh, wow.
And the regression brought me to realize what my path was.
Yeah.
Because, you can question everything. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why did I miss that? Why did this, why are things so difficult? Why did not my marriage work? Why, it was like,
Sure.
And I always look to myself, what did I do wrong?
Right.
I found out, I only went back to one lifetime. I went directly, I didn't even see the birth canal. I saw nothing. And I was alert through the whole thing. And I went back to a lifetime in Lemuria, where I was a boy.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I could hear I was like, oh my God, I'm a man. And I had a turban, and I was, white, the white pantaloons and the sandals, and I lived in a stone hut. And it brought me into this place at this time when I was fighting over the woman I loved with another man. And we had a duel, and unfortunately, she accidentally got hurt and died. And that was like the one love in my life. And it was amazing when I did word associations, because I couldn't make it. Why am I here? Why is this happening to me? Why is that? She stood for what my path was meant to be. I have come through many lifetimes, I've been told, searching for that love each time. But it turned out that it's not one person. It's the world. Word associations were word, love, a healing. It was all about being in the world to heal, to make it better. And
so beautiful.
Love, it was just a major love. It wasn't like a one-on-one love. And I guess that's why I still haven't found the guy, because my life has not led me that way.
Right.
It's very interesting, and sometimes I think, I'd like to have somebody special too, but it just hasn't come in my path. And I really am not the kind that goes someplace on purpose to meet somebody.
Right.
I feel that when I'm on stage, when I'm working or when I'm recording and I'm doing, I sing to the people in the audience. I look in their eyes. I feel, they tell me they feel like they're in my living room. And I reach them with the material. And every time I go on stage, I do an affirmation that God used me, God, universe, the universality and love, to be a messenger, a vessel for his message, for anybody in my audiences who might need to hear those words, and to help put it out in the world.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's interesting,
so
right?
That's why I do what I.
Yeah. I talk to my people when I teach, and my clients about this all the time in my spiritual practice, that all of us are here, right, to learn our human lessons, overcome our obstacles, and grow and ascend so that we can then come back again with that ascension. But for those of us that are here also to be in service, it's almost like we have two jobs. One is our human lessons, and then also we're also here to be of service. And it's a lot to fit into one life.
It is. Go ahead.
It can be, I think for some people, it can be very frustrating, because they think, well, how come I have to still work on all this stuff, but then I also have to do this? To me, it's an honor to be in service. And I consider myself in service 24/7. When somebody needs me and I'm called, then I go. But I know it's hard, because sometimes you feel like you don't have the life that you see maybe other people having on Facebook, because you're busy serving.
And it's like to me, I haven't been on Facebook like for days now, but I'm like catching up on all the birthdays I missed, because I feel like everybody deserves to be celebrated.
Sure.
Whoever comes on my page that it's a birthday, but I'm so behind right now. I'm a week behind. And I feel bad about it, but I had to take a break.
Right.
With everything, because I just want goodness in this world. I want people to feel loved. Everybody deserves to be loved and respected, and given opportunity without anybody else's, feeling bad. Everybody should feel good about everybody moving forward.
Yes.
And growing.
Yes. Well, and that's another thing, right? Is that we have our personal ascension.
Yes.
But then there's also the ascension of the world, and we have our personal vibration, but there's also the vibration of the world. So as you are lifting yourself up, you should be working to lift the everything too. If everybody worked to ascend, then the whole world would lift up.
Exactly.
And you have to think about that, right? That's part of your service, is what's going on in the world.
In fact, that is what I am called to more than my own. Healing myself comes second.
Yes, I know. Me too.
Find that I can do for others, or I can touch others in a way that sometimes I can't do for myself.
Yes. Yeah, it was interesting when you said earlier that when things weren't going great in the 80s, you were asking, what did I do? And I think that is the number one sign of an empath, right? An empath always asks, what did I do?
And what did I not do? What did I do wrong?
What could I do different? What could I do now?
Right.
But sometimes we're doing that at the expense of ourselves. Right. And we have to remember to recharge our own batteries on a regular basis, so that then we can again go out and do the work to help others. Sometimes, like you said, we put ourselves second, and we have to stop and say, wait a minute, you got to take some time for you now and do what's good for you.
Right. Because it fills me up. It fills my heart up when people tell me a song I sang, or just speaking with me, what it meant to them, how it helped them, how I touched them, how when I'm singing, oh my God, I had that same experience, and it's like hugging the world.
Yes.
I hug the world with my music.
Yes, it's so true. Well, and music is magic, right?
Yeah.
Because it's universal.
Universal.
And especially when you're performing live, you're there having this very like in the moment experience with everyone.
Intimate in the moment.
Everyone is having the same experience. You may be the one bringing the music, but the music is healing everyone, including you.
Right.
So it's really about it's like you're unleashing this magic through your mouth that is then healing everyone. And that's real magic, right?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I feel the best when I'm out there live performing, which I haven't been since COVID.
Yes.
And I'm slowly coming back into the world, and my musical producer, my recording producer just moved to Nashville. So I have things in the can that was starting. We just started yesterday again to do another video, because to put it out in this world, I like to do videos that have what to do with the message.
Yes.
That call people also. And so now we're just starting again, and I might have to fly to Nashville to work, because I like the one-on-one. When you find somebody that you work well with, who brings the best out in you, that lets you stretch, and and it's spiritual as well. So it's an experience, that you both grow from, or whatever, and you trust each other. That is the best kind of experience to work in. It's coming from when my beginning years, when that wasn't the case.
Right. Well, and that is itself kind of a love relationship, right, Roslyn? It's a partnership.
Yes,
it's like having a dance partner or being in a band with somebody, to have that kind of musical trust.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting a new band that's more spiritually driven, and I haven't been my band hasn't played for 10 something years, and it was more of a rock band, but I'm using my same writing partner, because I trust him with my art, and he trusts me with his art.
Right.
And we used to be a couple. We have not been in over 20 years, but we'll always have like the partnership of the music will be our children. And it's amazing to me how easy it is to fall back into any kind of music with him, because there's just that thing there, right?
Yeah.
And I think it happens. You meet somebody that you feel safe with your art.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to work with somebody else. I would totally fly to Nashville too, if I needed to. What drew him to going to Nashville? Is he just really feeling the energy, the musical energy that's building up there?
He could buy a house there, and he built a bigger studio in it.
Yeah.
And now he's got 2 rooms for vocal and drums, and
nice.
And he's just getting settled in now. So yesterday was the first time we worked a little on the next video, and then I'm working up to, because we stopped in the middle of recording a song during COVID, and I was nervous being in the studio out there, because we didn't have the shots then and everything, and now I spray the back of my throat with this homeopathic stuff that stops the virus.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
With it, I still am very, I try to be very safe.
Sure.
So, because I did get it last August. I don't know how on earth, but I didn't like it. And I was worried about my vocal cords. I got those razor blades sore throat.
Yeah, it's not fun.
My cords. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm very grateful. I've had it twice. I don't know how. Mostly I got it at home from who I was living with. Because I isolated huge. I don't. I was very lucky. It didn't really affect my lungs and my throat, because I need those things.
Yeah.
But I still have stuff from it. I mean, I think it has altered us in some ways, and the world is forever going to be a little bit different because of it. What did you do, Roslyn, to do your artistic service during that time when you couldn't go out and perform? Were you doing things online? Were you reaching people somehow?
I wasn't really doing anything online, because I wasn't with the people I need to do it with.
Right.
Because I do what I do, but I'm not a one-man band without the other people. And they say, it's a one-man thing. There's no such thing. It's
no.
It's a group of, or several people who you trust to be out there with it, and who have to be ready also. And I really stayed home. I was very isolated, and And I did interviews. So hopefully my interviews.
Sure. Yes.
And I did put out a couple of recordings. I did my Light of Love came out during that time.
Okay.
And also 6 months ago, I released my medley of It Only Takes a Moment and Kiss Her Now. And I'm working now on the next one. It's a medley of The Look of Love and The Island.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
And
okay.
that one is in the can. They've been in the can. We're doing the videos now. But and then we have another song that we started, We Can Be Kind, which I have to go in and finish, and I got to pick other songs too. But I do try to have messages in my songs in some way or another.
I love that. I think now is the time, right? I mean, it's like I said, in the 90s, I was in a comedy theatrical rock band and I loved it. I wouldn't change that for anything, but it's a different world now. And I just feel like people need to hear spiritual messages. It's why I came out with my psychic gifts and opened my spiritual practice. Now was the time that people needed what I sort of always kept inside. I like to say now I just wear my underwear on the outside because it was always there, but I just didn't make it public because I figured I would use it in my art and that was fine. That's where it needed to be. But I think now people need to be sort of healed on a more visceral level because people are really craving healing and the world needs the healing, but the world's never going to get the healing if the people don't get the healing.
People don't get the healing, and we've got a lot of crazies going on right now.
Right, there's a lot of stuff.
I mean, it's so much stuff I got so involved. It was the most I ever became politically involved since 2015, and that's why I did Save the Country.
Right, yes.
And I have another song that's in the can also about coming together.
Yes.
It's a cover song. It's I just have to get those things out there because I want people to put away their fear of other people, their jealousies or what they don't understand. Open up. I grew up in Brooklyn. It was a melting pot.
Exactly. Yes.
It was a melting pot. I had friends, all kinds of varieties of friends that I went to school with.
Yeah.
And I wish we had, I miss that for the kids today, not to be able to have like a neighborhood where you can walk to school and not be afraid. And, you have different friends and you do your homework. Then you go see like I would go with my friends to see the Beatle movies. We'd be online and I would meet a girl online and then you would invite them to your house. Today, it's a whole other story.
Yeah.
You can't do those things.
Yeah. And it's a shame. And we've become so polarized. My mom passed in 2016 and I was too kind of out of it to have her memorial until I decided her birthday in November would be a great time. And then on her birthday, we had a little presidential election in 2016. So I had her memorial scheduled for 4 days later. And all of a sudden, I started getting all these cancellations. Well, I'm not going to be there if Republicans are be there. I'm not going to be there if Democrats are going to be there. And I was like, honey, my mom had died and she loved everybody.
Right.
So, but I was so shocked at how people suddenly, like a wall came down between people. And at that time, I was teaching a lot in Dallas. And people would always ask me, because there's a lot of Democrats moving there, Republicans already there in Texas, especially in Dallas. And they would say, what do you think about the polarization? And I would always say somewhere there is an energy that is liking the fact that we're fighting. And we have to sometime we have to find a commonality between
out
us.
Of that, but yet there's too much hatred that has been generated by people who don't know any better.
And that's what it's about.
They don't know any better.
Right.
They haven't been open. It's been a one-way view. They don't know all the stories, and they don't know. And their truth is only one way.
Yes,
they don't
exactly.
know what else is out there.
Yes, and it's not Republicans or Democrats that need to be eradicated. It's hatred and negativity. Right. It's finding the negativity and pulling it out. And that's why for me, I founded a nonprofit movement to kind of carry on my mom's teachings called raisingthevibration.org. And our cornerstone words are peace, love, kindness, and unity. And so many people have said, I have a hard time with that word unity. But, you know, we shouldn't talk about that. Martin Luther King talked about unity, even though he was trying to fight the system and make the world a better place, still talking about all of us being unified. We need to come together. That is the most, I think when you said come together, the most important thing. And if we need to move anybody out of the circle, it's those that are just bringing negativity and just bringing hatred, because that's weighing our vibration down on a national and
there's
a global
a lot
level.
of angels here on earth.
Absolutely.
A lot of angel vibration, but there's so much darkness.
Yeah.
So much darkness, and people perpetrating the darkness.
Yes.
Because of the hatred.
Right.
Because they don't want to accept something that isn't them. And that's so wrong. I've learned so much from different people.
That's wonderful.
Culturally, you learn so much. I mean, you know, even if you just love to eat, you learn all the different foods, the culinaries around the world.
Yes.
And,
yes.
You know, it's so wonderful. Why would you want to block that out of your life?
I have no idea. But again, my parents were New Yorkers.
Yeah.
So I think they grew up in the middle of that. And from the time I was little, if I had a friend who was religiously different, spiritually different, culturally different, my mom would pack me off with their family and send me off to mosque and synagogue and Buddhist temple and Catholic church and everything that we weren't. So I could see everything. And what I learned from that was that I'm everything. I love everything.
Yeah. I mean, I did my own search in that way because my father had come from the Russian pogroms. I was a late in life child. So my father came here as a child at the turn of the century.
Wow.
Actually, he was born in 1893.
Wow.
So from the pogroms, he was scared. You know, people who weren't Jewish or had friends, not if they were friends, but if it was a guy, he was worried. And I was so open.
Yeah.
I was so open. And I didn't know how else to be.
Yeah.
I didn't know how else to be. And I really don't want to fear. There's goodness out there. There's goodness in each and every one of us on earth in this world, because that's who we are. That's where we come from. It's when are you going to use it? When are you going to recognize it and use it for the right reason to heal yourself from hatred, because that's heavy. That's heavy. And bring love and light back in.
Absolutely.
What a world this would be if everybody just had love. I mean, even with pricing and this, I love Biden's speech last night. I was like, it was so great. You know, the airplane tickets, the fees, this we have to bring. He was so great because everybody deserves an opportunity, and our arms should be open to help us all experience all of life's wonders.
Yes.
All of life's wonders and nature and the things that God, the universe, has created for us here. We're not supposed to be spoiling it. We're supposed to be caring for it, nurturing it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, and we have this beautiful thing called the internet, right? Where we can literally go anywhere in the world from our home in seconds. And you should be using the internet for the beautiful things about it, meeting people from across the world and becoming friends. You were talking about how you'd go to a concert and you'd meet somebody in line and then you'd bring them home to your house. Well, now you can go into a virtual chat somewhere and you can meet somebody from across the world and make a friend and instantly strike up a conversation with them. And because of Google Translate, you can have conversations with people who don't even speak your language, because we all speak the same spiritual language. We just, and now there are tools to help us communicate with each other. And if you don't have the money to go to Italy and you've always wanted to go, then while you're gathering up that money, you can go visit Italy on Google Earth. I mean, I think it's so beautiful. People who didn't grow up with that, like I didn't and you didn't, don't understand the miracle of being able to go those places and see those things and broaden your horizons.
And I'm one for that feels that when you're in Rome, do as Romans do. I'm not going to bring America to that.
Right,
Because if you're
sure.
there, you live like them. You take in the whole thing,
Yes.
their whole reality, because
Sure.
it is different, and you want to learn. I mean, I remember being in Lake Como, and their pizza there, they only had the cheese in the middle. It was very thin crust, and the cheese. It's just it's so beautiful. I mean,
Yes.
to experience other beings and to even get a conversation going. A couple of weeks ago, I was out for my birthday and David Zimmerman's birthday.
Sure. A good friend of ours.
We were both, we couldn't go. He wanted to take me out for my birthday, and I was going to take him out for his. Didn't work out because I had gotten a bad back. So we both went to a restaurant and we treated each other.
Nice.
And we met a lovely couple right next to the table where we were sitting. It was the man's birthday as well. So we were all celebrating, and we find out they're from New York, and they're also spiritual, and they're connected. It's lovely.
It's beautiful. It's
just
beautiful.
Warm outside,
It's what life is about. It's funny because people say like OLA, I don't want to go to a restaurant, hear about the waiter's screenplay. Actually, I do. I want to hear about what the waiter's interested in. I've had wonderful conversations with waiters and bussers and hosts at restaurants and nurses when I'm in the hospital.
Right.
I want to know what people are interested in. When I had my 10 years ago, I had a hysterectomy, and I was at a hospital in Newport, and I could tell the room on the other side of the wall was haunted. And long story short, my doctor is the son of my original doctor. So I've been going to this doctor's office since I was 13, and I had to have a lot of surgeries in that area. So I'm a part of the family. So the nurse comes up to me and she says, "Oh, we were talking to the doctor, and he said that you can tell when there are ghosts." And I said, I'm like in the hospital, right? With like 25 staples in my stomach. And I said, "Oh yeah, that room on the other side." And she said, Oh, we don't even like to go in there to clean up. It's the last room we put patients in. So then they had me like, they make you walk around the nurse's station, right? They're holding my hand like, which room is haunted? Then the next thing I knew, nurses from all the shifts were coming in to tell me all their paranormal stories from childhood. It was fantastic. I felt like I met 20 nurse friends. Wow. And it completely took my mind off of pain, not feeling good, being in the hospital, being scared. Right. Suddenly, people were just talking. And I love that when you're in the hospital, every day a chaplain comes in, but they're always from a different religion or denomination. Yeah. So you learn about all these different people, and you see they're all lovely. With my hysterectomy, it was a female rabbi. The first surgery I ever had, it was a chaplain from Seventh-day Adventist Church. I didn't even know what that was. Right. And it's just like any experience can be turned into tribe building and spiritual growth if you just make it that experience.
Exactly. It's up to each and every one of us you have to open that heart. I mean, Absolutely. I've had out of body experiences ever after my I was really meditating a lot, and I had an out of body experience with my father. When my mom passed in 2002, I had an experience with her, and I used to say I think my dog had an experience because he was barking at himself, and I think he felt spirits in my mother passed. I so believe in that, and I said, how could I have had this experience? And I had one with aliens,
sure,
and I felt so good about it. They took me, they flew, and I said to my psychic friend in Florida, I said, did I dream this or did this happen to me?
Of course it happened, sure.
And she said, no, it happened.
Yeah.
And I had such a positive feeling from it all that I'm always asking, Pleiadians, here I am. Okay.
Ready for a vacation. Show her around.
And I was given this script years ago of people who had experiences, alien experiences. And they always, they said that the experiences were positive and they were always greeted in the light.
Beautiful.
In the light. And this one gentleman from another planet, he said he uttered the word Adonai, which in Hebrew is God. And they talked about their life and how there's no war and there's no, they choose when they're going to go or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just about love and knowledge, and it just, I feel we're here for a reason.
Yes.
But I feel there's so much more out there for me to learn also.
Yes.
I have to say that lately I have not been meditating like I was. But I talk to God all the time. I talk,
Sure. Keeping that channel open is so important.
All the time. And I don't care whether he's a man or a woman or he's an energy. I feel good about.
I call God them.
Yeah.
Because I think God is a collective of energy, right? And there's a lot of different stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like an angry old man on a cloud who's always mad at everybody for everything.
Right.
It's not that there aren't rules to the universe, and not that there aren't things that are frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a free for all, because you're supposed to be here learning lessons, and there are things that disrupt the balance of the universe that we're not supposed to be doing.
Right.
But it's not some of the silly stuff that religions put into it. It's not who you love, and it's not how much money you have, and it's not.
That's the last thing
that's all earthbound
concepts. It's not about the differences in how you pray.
No,
it just isn't. And that's what I used to love. I lost my rabbi a few years ago. Rabbi Freeling, and he just, even in the sanctuary, it said this sanctuary is for everyone.
Yes.
And they opened their doors when people were homeless.
Yes.
They had the home. I mean, it's all about encompassing love. It's not love here and I don't know you. No, it's love all around.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So when you first started your spiritual journey, your alternative spiritual journey, was it easy for you to assimilate that into the Jewish beliefs that you had from your whole life?
I called myself a more aware Jew.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
I was accepting to other things that may not be accepted, and probably to the Hasidim, I'm not even Jewish. So, because, and yet my father's family, we had Hasidim in his side of the family.
Right.
I never really got to know them. I was a late in life child anyway, so they were a lot older than me or gone by the time I came into the world. But I was raised conservative. My father's side of the family at times were a lot more religious, Hasidim. And I found my place where I'm the most comfortable, even though I had a conservative education. I went to yeshiva for my first 2 years of school. I had to go to Hebrew school after regular school. I went to services all the time. And I loved it. I loved the feeling I got every High Holy Days when we come and we join hands and we light the candles and the songs. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Doesn't mean anything is less beautiful, but it's so touching.
Yes.
I love it. And I have gone to other churches and lit candles for my mom and for those. I mean, God is God.
I agree.
And I don't think anybody's going to slap you down. And if you honestly are trying to learn about another religion, honestly wanting to bring it into your consciousness, that's a compliment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it feels good to be someplace where people are gathering to worship in the light.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. And to me, I didn't grow up very religious. I always say I grew up Presbyterian, which is sort of like more about the coffee cake than the sermon. But
Jews didn't eat the coffee cake. That's the service.
Exactly. You guys have the best food, but you take the service a little more seriously. I just remember somebody would say something about God and something about Jesus, and then, oh, we have wonderful punch, and people would stampede to the room for the treats. But my mom considered herself what she called a teachings of Christ Christian, which meant that she was more about what Jesus said and less about what religion has made from it. And I think she was also a metaphysician, and I think that is kind of an easy transition. I think if you can, every religion has its sort of metaphysical side. It's just whether or not you allow yourself to tap into that, or you've been allowed to tap into that. And I think that, so carrying that bit of light with me, my best friend is Catholic, and I've been to church with her recently, and I absolutely love it. Because it's just people gathering in the light. We went to a day of remembrance, and I brought a flower for my mom. And I think anywhere I go, I feel good, because everywhere you go, you find the light, right? And you find people that are there to bring the light and to heal others on a spiritual level and on a cultural level and community.
I feel the light in the room with Joe Biden. Here is a man who is so good. Accepting to all, wanting to help all.
Absolutely.
Tell me the light in this man around.
Absolutely. I warned you this might happen. It's happening. This little guy has. Sometimes you just need a hug from your mom. I know, sweetheart. I know. Yeah, I agree. I think that his whole life has been about service.
Yes.
And I think he generally cares about people, and he just feels good.
Yeah.
I like people who feel good. I would like him if he was a Republican. I just like people who feel good. I think we put too much emphasis.
They like who they are. They feel good about who they are.
I agree. And I think people vote party over person. And I think that's a shame, because you have to find a soul you feel good about being in the office of leading your country.
Exactly.
And I'm very happy with what's happening right now, because I'm seeing a lot of diversity, and I'm seeing a lot of humanity.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important thing, that we're more following our hearts. And I feel very proud. Talk about since 2015, I feel very proud to be a Californian. I think this state has done wonderful things.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud to be a Los Angelino. And right now I've been living back and forth between my home in Sherman Oaks and Huntington Beach, where I grew up. So now I'm down here in Huntington Beach, which is much more conservative. I feel this is an area that needs me right now. So I'm happy to be here. So this is where Cullen and I are hanging out right now, doing our thing down here, right, sweetheart? Sometimes you need to go where you're not always preaching to your own choir.
Oh, that's for sure.
And bring the light there, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I'll have a debate. I mean, I know how I feel. And it's if people can debate about things like this, or talk, or accept talk without hatred.
Sure.
Getting in the way, because it's different, or they, it's not, no. And it's up to us that if they're feeling inadequate and unloved, we have to let them know they are loved.
Absolutely.
They come from love. I have conversations when I'm on the phone, dealing like a phone company or a purchase or something. I end up in long conversations with people on the phone. They say,
I do that too.
That was so great, Roslyn.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't know the face. I don't know this. And, it's how it just flies out of me. Honey, thank you so much, honey. Thank you. And you have a beautiful day. And you have one too. What does it hurt to be nice and kind?
It makes all the difference. I always say that if everybody just was 5% kinder every day, that the tsunami of kindness that would flow over this earth. And 5% is nothing. But if we all just gave 5%, the tsunami of kindness would be unbelievable. I do the same thing, and I love that people are working from home. I love when you call Verizon and you can hear someone's dog and their kids in the background. I think people are at home. They're more comfortable. I think that's a good thing that came from COVID. People being able to be in their home space. And so for you, how did COVID change you? I mean, what I think all of us went through an emotional, a spiritual shift during that time because we had so much time to think. So for you, what was it for you?
For me, it was like, always it's family, because I missed my family. I missed, I remember running into my nephew at the dentist. It was like, nobody was hugging, nobody was kissing, and I just didn't think about it. With me, it was family. I mean, family has always meant a lot to me, but the separation for those several years meant even more.
Yeah.
And I felt that way with family and friends, and there's still some friends I haven't seen.
Yeah, me too. Quite a few I haven't seen.
The shift for me is, and also the thought of my next show, which I would love to put together, and I haven't gotten there yet, because I feel like I need a record. I need something out there, that's out there multiplying.
Sure.
My idea in my head is to do a song, and it has to be tied into the kindness, because of my
absolutely. I love that. But isn't that great that your name is Kind?
And I do a song called "We Can Be Kind." I mean, but I want other songs in there that talk about bringing together.
That's wonderful. There are no accidents, right? That your name is Kind.
Yeah,
it happened for a reason.
And do you know, when I was growing up, there was another couple in the building next to ours. It was Mr. and Mrs. Meany. They weren't, but it was their name.
That's fantastic. So how did you stay close to family? Was it Zooming? Was it FaceTime? Was it
we zoomed,
phone calls?
Phone calls, Zoom. And I saw a couple of friends that I knew stayed home, because I didn't trust everybody to be around, the ones that were like gallivanting around without protection.
Right. That was too many, unfortunately.
We would go for a walk, but we would keep a distance apart and wear our masks, but walk together. I did a little video with David on one of our walks by the fountain in Beverly Hills, where you cross over Wilshire and Santa Monica.
Sure.
And we did a little thing there, and then we walked down, and we sat in front of this ice cream place, and I talked about, at that time we heard some kind of a story that Israel was going to come out with masks that open up when you bring a fork to your face, so that you can put the food in and still chew.
That's fantastic.
So I'm sitting in front of this ice cream parlor doing this bit.
That's fantastic. Did that ever happen?
No. I said that and I heard about it, but I never saw anything come to fruition of the reality of that mess with the whole, with it open.
That's the best. That's the absolute best.
So that you would put the food in, and then it would close and you could chew.
Now, are you still wearing a mask when you're out?
I wear a mask when I'm in the stores.
Okay.
Yeah. And I spray my throat. I spray the back of my throat with this homeopathic stuff that seems to safeguard me.
Yeah, a friend of mine were talking the other day about the irony of how people will say, "Oh, I'm having 8 people over for a party, and I'm making them all wear masks." But then I go to the grocery store and I don't wear one. I don't think people realize how many people you're exposed to
like
at
you
the
said,
grocery store, the drugstore, Walmart. I mean, hundreds of people are in that building at a time.
Yeah. We eat outside most of the time, as long as it's not freezing out. But if I'm with, as long as my table isn't on top of everybody else and I'm with people who I know are fine, I take the chance. But if I'm in a place of worship, if I'm flying on the plane, if I'm in the airport, in the grocery store, I've got my mask on. And we're trying to figure out how on earth I ever got COVID to begin with. And we said it could be like when you go to the market, and I was spraying the back of my throat at the time. You go to the market and you're touching things, that you're picking up that other people have touched. And when you go home, you take off your mask and you touch your face without realizing it. I'm so conscious of that now.
Yes.
But, and you touch somewhere like your mouth or your nose. Now I'm very, very aware. Not to touch my face until my hands are washed. When I get back. And I was spraying I suppose with the spray that I use, which is, it's great, called I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
It's going to be called, when it comes out on mass, 4TP, For the People.
Oh, nice.
And it's homeopathic, no side effects, no nothing. You have
Wonderful.
to spray every 5 hours in the back. And they're talking about it's going to be coming out in pill and gummy form.
Mm.
But right now, the spray, and you have to do it every 5 hours. You can't miss a beat. And we're figuring that I came home from shopping, and even though I sprayed and I came home in less than 5 hours, and once I go out, you should be spraying every 5 hours as long as you were out for the day until you go to bed, which is no big deal. I have my trusty bottle in my bag.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Set the clock on my phone, it goes off, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
When I did go on a plane, I felt that much more protected because of
I think
it.
that's wonderful. Yeah, because that's all that recirculating air. I still haven't flown. As a matter of fact, I have I have finally going back to teaching in person. I have 3 gigs in the next few months, but luckily they're Palm Springs, Santa Clarita, and Vegas, so they're all drivable.
Right.
So we're figuring out how to get this little guy ready to drive, because I don't want to be without him. So I'm going to take him with me on my road trips. And so we're figuring out how to set up the car so it's the happiest environment for him.
Yeah.
So, because, we've been together since he was 3 days old. So I don't want to just leave him. I can't even imagine that.
I love cats. I used to love the white tigers in Las Vegas.
Oh, God. Yes, me too.
Look in those eyes. They were so mesmerized.
Yes.
I could watch them for hours.
Well, and he's such a healer, and I think we underestimate sometimes how animals are healers. I do 3 times a week. I do, free psychic advice on all my social media platforms, and people will, text me and say, "Is Cullen going to be there this time?" Or "I was in such a horrible mood and I wanted to cry, and then I saw Cullen and I felt better." People, and all he does is what he does now. He comes up, he hugs me, shows his face for the camera, and he kisses me. But he brings love, and it's love in the purest form, right? As animals have the purest love.
Yes.
And people see that, and it changes their day. Now a bunch of people that watch me have gone and adopted cats. I went to a shelter. I got a cat. I decided what would make me feel better is to get a cat. And I think getting a cat always makes you feel better. So now all these folks are bringing more life into their lives and getting these wonderful animal companions. And it's beautiful. And it's so important that we remember that everything brings love, right? And that animals are healing.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any at this time? Do you have animals?
At this time, I haven't had, but my nephew has little Eli. I call him my great nephew, my great 4-legged nephew.
Nice. And do you babysit little Eli
I'm
sometimes?
I babysit for him in April for a week. I did babysit for him when Jason went away for his birthday.
Nice.
He only trusts him with me.
Nice. Yes.
So I was with him when he got him, and I was like, I always had to have my little Eli fix.
Yeah, you're sort of like, gee, I'm going to miss you, Jason, but I'm sure glad I get little Eli for a week.
But I just have not gotten my own puppy for the longest time since I put mine down. It hurts so bad because I felt like he might as well have come from my womb, and I'm so sensitive.
I feel the same way. I lost mine in November of last year. She was 18, Molly, and I swore I would never get another one, and because she was sick, and I said, when Molly goes, that's it. And then my girlfriend fostered a basket of babies, tabbies, orange tabbies. And right when they were about to bring the orange tabbies over, they got a call from a kill shelter. They'd found a 3-day kitten all by himself. They ran to the kill shelter. He was going to be euthanized in an hour. They ran and saved him. And the only way he would stop crying is if they put him in the middle of the basket with the tabbies. So we got Cullen along with the group. And the minute I held him, he was literally the width of my hand. And the minute I held him, I said, you are mine. And it's been just a love affair ever since then. We sleep together every night. We go everywhere together. And you know what? He got me through COVID because that was kind of a depressing time. And he really helped to pull me through that. And we take care of each other. So now I moved into my childhood home just to fix it up to rent it. and fell in love with it and decided to stay. So I do all my videos at my mom's desk. And it's just the two of us here in this place where I grew up. It's a little bit of a trip, but we're having a wonderful time fixing the house up, and he loves every like plumber and carpenter and handyman that comes. And he acts like he helps. I always tell him I'm going to get him a little tool belt because he helps. There's a Cullen crossing. And it's just been delightful. So you never know, right? You find happiness and joy in the strangest places sometimes.
Yeah. And it's true. The littlest things, they don't have to be expensive. Yes. They don't have to be, weird. They don't have to be frightening. The tiniest things, the things that you would think have no meaning to some people, sometimes are where you find your greatest joy.
I agree. And I go to sleep every night. And whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, wherever he is, he's laying down next to me and he's put his little paw on top of my hand. And sometimes that's all you need to make you happy for a week, Yeah. It's about finding the beauty in everything. And you are wonderful, sweetie. You are the beauty in everything, and such a joy to have here. Please, let's do this again. I would love it.
I would love to too. I have more to tell you, more to share,
I know there's so much more. Absolutely. Where can people find your music and also your 2 or 3 most recent songs that are so much medicine for the world?
They're on YouTube with videos, and one is Save the Country, which I did in 2016. It was like, and Light of Love, which we wrote. It's an original. And it's also about finding yourself and loving yourself and express it. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I have seen it. I remember when you showed it to me at a friend's birthday party.
That's right.
It's wonderful. Yes, at Carolyn Hennessy's. Yes, absolutely. It was wonderful.
And now the one for Kiss Her Now, and it only takes a moment. If you haven't seen that, see that. We've got some great footage. Oh, God. But everybody's saying, you need to be in it. You need to be in it. So
yeah, I agree. Your energy.
So we put some stills on it from my photo shoot.
Nice.
But now yesterday, the first thing Stefan did from Nashville is he took his 4K camera and he taped me, not look, like schlubby, and had me lip syncing my song that he was playing on his end. And he said to me, and I'm like, in the camera and just doing my thing. And he said, oh my God, Rosie, you just wanted for a thing to hold place so that when we're doing the video, we can find where putting me in would make sense.
Beautiful.
But it was so, he said, God, you're such oh my God, you give it all, no matter what. You gave me angles.
Yes. Too, your energy just comes out of you, and it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, sweetheart. I can't wait to have you back. Everybody, the wonderful Roslyn Kind. If you missed any of the links for anything that's going on with her music, I'm at sheenametalspiritual.com. That's my website, sheenametalspiritual.com. Or you can find me everywhere on social media at Sheena Metal. Until we see you next Friday at 3:00 Pacific time, seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration, and most importantly, remember that you are love and you are loved, and you are most definitely loved by me. I'm Sheena Metal. This is the Sheena Metal Experience. Thank you to Roslyn Kind, to KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network, and we'll see you next week.